Ballast water treatment has become a major issue for most ship owners. How exactly are they about to deal with it, and what kind of measurements do they need to take in order to face this major problem?
Indeed, the ballast water has been a hot issue for the last 3-4 years mainly. After the convention came into force, we've seen a lot of ship owners that are moving towards the compliance. The compliance, according to the convention, is the installation of a ballast water treatment system. In the past couple of years, we've seen the uncertainty era with questions like which maker are we going to install, which type of technology, will the system work at the end. We've seen nowadays that we move from that era to the experience gain era. A lot of ship owners today, they have experience on installation of systems, on operation of systems, troubleshooting of systems, and we've seen that a lot of them, many of them, they're investing on the crew training and the data collection of systems in order to make them operable and more efficient for their vessels.
Now, is it better to actually retrofit a vessel with a ballast water treatment system, or just to build a new ship including this particular system?
Of course, the installation of a system on board a new build, it's an easier task because the designers of the systems, the designers of the vessels are taking into consideration such a system installation. The retrofit, though, is a quite challenging procedure which requires detailed engineering, requires good planning, and it requires a lot of focus both from the maker and from the owner. However, we've seen that the technology today allow us to do miracles and allow us to do installations on retrofits which are really challenging.
USA and other countries around the world seem to have different regulatory framework with regards to the ballast water treatment. So how can a ship owner opt for a specific ballast water treatment system in order to actually comply with all these regulations all around the globe?
That's a really good question. Indeed, there are several countries or states in the United States of America which are trying to implement different regulations. However, we've seen today that there are two major pillars. One is the IMO regulation and the other one is the Coast Guard regulation. And the good thing is that the revised G8 guidelines from IMO or the revised code with regards to discharge limitation is fully aligned with the Coast Guard, which means that the golden rule exists. Nowadays, a ship owner who is installing a US Coast Guard type approved system doesn't run any risk of non-complying in any stricter regulations around the globe.
Essentially, we've been discussing this with a US Coast Guard representative, and the thing is, if a ship owner has not addressed yet the ballast water treatment system in his ship, then he might be excluded or he might not be allowed to do any business in the US or anywhere else near that. What exactly are the risks of not addressing the issue of ballast water treatment from your point of view?
The risks are major. Without a US Coast Guard type approved system, you don't have the ticket to trade in the US unless you're not discharging ballast water. Of course, not discharging ballast water is not an option for an operable vessel. Therefore, the only way to trade in US is to install a US Coast Guard type approved system.
Would you also like to comment on the 8th Annual Capital Link Forum?
This is the second year in a row that ERMA First and myself are participating in the event. We've seen this event as a good networking opportunity. It's a well, let's say, marketed and well-planned event with major stakeholders of the market, not on the technical side or the commercial side. It has a good combination of both. So we really love to be here.